What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode. So today we're going to give a little bit of an update on the greenhouse, the water situation specifically.
Yeah.
And we have some exciting news over in the new pond. So what do you say we get to it?
Let's do it. So I think we've touched on it before that, you know, all these wells are not really filtered. So the only issue with that is sometimes you get a lot of sulfur down here. So what sulfur does is it causes a lot of algae growth in the water. So we had to combat that somehow. So what we had to do for the tortoises is put a sulfur tank. And all that yellow stuff, that's
a lot of sulfur.
Yeah.
This is brand new too, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, when did you get this tank?
I mean, maybe a month ago. And what happens is there's big spray bars in there that spray down, and then the water catches there and then pumps back over. So what it is the way to get rid of sulfur is just essentially aerating it. So if you use a spray bar, it oxygenates it, mixes with the oxygen, releases it, and then it disperses. But you have to have this. So we have this, but also for the tortoises, we have a carbon tank. Since we're not using a ton of water, we can get away with a carbon tank, and that catches all the chemicals, essentially impurities in the water. So
is it kind of like an RO system or what?
No, like, because RO takes like all the minerals out, everything. This just takes all the contaminants. So if there's any lead, any essentially heavy metals that aren't good.
Any toxins, I guess?
Yeah, any toxins, any fertilizers or whatnot. It absorbs the toxins, so then the tortoises don't get it.
Well, that's good. So then it still leaves all the minerals for them, so it's still beneficial water.
Exactly. Because you got to worry about RO water because it pulls everything out. So all those nutrients and minerals that you usually get in water, it's pulled out. So it's definitely good to ensure you filter it somewhat, but not all the way. So the problem with the crocodiles is the same thing. So we're getting a lot of sulfur in the tank, a lot of in the well. We get a lot of sulfur in the well, and what that does is it creates a lot of algae in the pond. The problem though is we're dealing with a 5 horsepower pump instead of a little 4.5, 2 horsepower pump. So it's a lot bigger scale. Well, they don't have a giant tank.
That looks beautiful, Kyle.
So,
you got water shooting out the top, the lid hanging off the side.
Hey, it's temporary. So we got the same size to at least get us by for now. But this is a 500-gallon tank. I have a 3,000-gallon tank. So we have a ton of spray bars, a ton of aeration. Whereas this is a lot narrower of a tank, so it's a lot harder. So you kind of have to crack the lid to make sure it breathes enough so it doesn't.
I think it's breathing. Look at that.
It's breathing. Maybe we'll cut it back a little bit.
What?
Can you smell it? Is
No.
that rotten? Really? Oh yeah, you can't smell or anything. You can't taste, smell. I feel bad for you.
Oh.
But it smells like rotten eggs.
Hey, you feel bad. You're smelling the rotten eggs. I want to smell that.
Yeah, but I can taste food.
Yeah.
So what it is, guys, this pump pumps up there, sprays down, and then the water that's collected is pumped here into the ponds, which is crazy because that's a 2 horsepower pump and it's a 5 horsepower pump, and they're doing well together.
And you said this is 500 gallons, and you have a 3,000 gallon one?
3,000 gallons coming with a bunch more spray bars. It's much wider, so the aeration process is much more efficient.
I smell the sulfur now, by the way.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Look at you smelling.
My smell is not out because of COVID. I just want everyone to know that. I haven't been able to smell in years. So.
Well, we've cured you.
Yeah.
We have cured you with the sulfur. So guys, that is a little update on the water conditions. Like I said, sulfur and iron are two big issues down here in Florida. I know my buddy Jerry Mata has a lot of iron in his water. So what that does, it kind of turns the crocodile teeth orange, where sulfur actually turns the crocs gray, their skin coloration. And also a lot of the algae buildup. So what we do with that, we just have that tank. So it'll aerate, come here, sulfur free. So I've definitely seen a difference with the water, which is good. But again, it's just going to take some time to filter through because we had to run the water, we had to keep it warm. And sulfur's not bad for them, you know, it's just more of a cosmetic thing. And you know me with cosmetics, I like to have it very nice looking.
Yeah, like your sulfur tank spewing from the top, like
That's in the back. Hey, whatever's best for the crocs. these guys also have been doing extremely well to the point that every single female has made a nest. So let's check out this one. And the exciting thing about this, guys, is we're gonna leave the eggs in the ground. We're gonna see if they hatch, because we don't need Niles. So it's not like, let's pull all the eggs, let's hatch them, you know, we can sell them all. No, there's no reason for us to produce them. But if they hatch in here, we're gonna let them rear their own young. It's gonna be incredible. So here's the hope. And what's cool, guys, is this female hangs out of here for the shade, because she's also protecting her nest, which is right here. And I will explain why she most likely has the best chance of having offspring this year, is because Niles, oh, look at her coming out. Niles lay eggs in the ground. So the issue with that is you have to worry about flooding with South Florida, because, you know, it's always raining. Essentially, this is a swamp. But here, I put all these drainage pipes. So essentially, right when it rains, the drainage pipes catch the water and drains out. So this should stay much drier than the other two over there, but they're still built up. So they all have a good chance of hatching if the conditions are right. But that's what's cool, is like they have different nests in different locations. So we're gonna see what does best here. And I mean, gators hatch here, American crocodiles hatch here, so I don't see why it shouldn't be in the range. I mean, I feel like it's gonna be cooler, so we might get more females, which will be better. But guys, I'm excited. I'm excited to see, you know, roughly probably 75, 80 days from now, because they probably 82, because they usually hatch about 90 days after they lay, from my experience with the Niles here.
And you're gonna have about 50 to 90 baby Niles walking around these enclosures.
I mean, that would be incredible. And that's why we did the sheep hog, guys. Look, everything is escape proof, even for the little babies. So, and even the drains are like slits like that big. So even the drains, they won't be able to slip through. So it's gonna be awesome. And that's why I'm like, if they hatch, great. You know, it's gonna be so cool for you guys and myself. But if they don't, no big deal. We don't need any more Niles. So my Achilles heel with this pond is honestly the ramps. Now the ramps have always been something that I've always been very concerned about, just because they're always coming in and out. I'm making sure they can't hurt their feet. You know, it's as natural as possible. And while I like that wood pile idea, I still feel like I can make it better. So what I'm trying to do is I put sand all over it, so it actually looks a lot better, guys. I love it, this look. We'll show the other one as well, but this one definitely looks a lot better. And what we're going to be testing at the other facility is the shallow ramp sections of just sand. If they work, we're renovating these ponds next year. So, but this is also, you know, this might be perfectly fine. So trying this out, seeing how well it works. What we do is we do a lot of videos of them walking in and out, just so I have that. I can slow motion it, you know, see where their foot placement is. Again, guys, I am absolutely crazy. I want to make sure everything is perfect for these animals. But I don't know, can you see that, Ryan? Can you see him right there?
I can see him to the naked eye, but guys,
okay.
He's sitting right here.
He's sitting right there. So that is something that I've always been very worried about, but I think we definitely have a happy setup right now for them. See how well it works over there, and if it's really well over there, then we'll implement it here. So as I was saying, that she has a great chance because this one is complete opposite area of that, and you can see this is much more of a natural looking area.
And that's the nest right
in the corner.
That's crazy. Not even build up at all.
Yep. No, that's the thing, is in the wild they have those big sandbanks that they just climb up and lay into. So if we really wanted to produce these guys, then I would definitely put a big sandbank here for them to lay into, just for optimal rearing conditions. But as I said before, I'm not going to be upset if they don't hatch. So look. See, that's what she does. She gets like right on top of the nest. Well, her head's right on top of the nest, so that's definitely where you don't want to be. So you can see also too, you see the orange coloration? That is the remnants of algae growth, and that was from the sulfur buildup. So obviously, again, it's very cosmetic. It's not affecting them at all. It's very natural in the wild, but it's something that bothers me. So I'd rather just correct it with that crazy tank over there. So you can definitely tell she laid right there with how much she's guarding it. But you can also see, guys, she was testing over here. So you can see how pushed down everything is and dug up. So she was definitely testing this area as well to see if it was worth her exercise of laying eggs into the ground. And this obviously wasn't the spot. It seems like those are good spots because the other female in the other group laid very similar to that location. So we'll see. So we got 2 that are about the same and then 1 that's complete opposite. So I'm excited to see what comes of it. And what's cool is between the perimeter fence, the electric wire, and them being great moms, I don't see any concern for predators whatsoever. So what's crazy is we're at the last nest site right here, and the female was over here, and she actually walked backwards over there. So guys, I'm learning new behavior every single day. Especially since we've collected multiple clutches from her. You think she'd be a little protective when we're around her nest. You think she would kind of connect the dots when we come around, but she seems pretty chill. Now, also the male came over too, so it's, guys, I mean, there's so much to learn. It's so much, you know, to think about, you know, the relationship, what it means, if maybe she's backing off and expecting him to do something, because I've actually seen him laying up here next to her multiple times, almost like he's guarding the nest. Now, I'm not gonna say he is guarding the nest, he is not guarding the nest. I don't know, you know, I'm just kind of seeing their behavior, and you know, if enough patterns happen, then you can connect the dots that way. But you know, he does seem like he does care about this nest, so that's what's cool. But you can see she also lays under the shade here, under the shade there. So that's what they do, is they'll stay on land, but they'll love the shade. So that's why that one over there loves it. And that's what's great about the sheep pile too, is in the morning and evening, is it's this barrier right next to them, and they have the shade too. So you know, they can really utilize the shade so they don't overheat, but they're still guarding the nests. Again, even though they don't need to, because there's very few predators here as it is, but then you add the perimeter fence and the electric wire, they got nothing to worry about. But you know, they're so instinctual that that's all they can't help it. So we are back to the original female, and honestly, guys, even though she is not the biggest, I think she is the brightest, because the more I look at her location and setup, the better I think she's made off, because she's got shade right there that she can hang her head out. If there's any predators, she can shoot out. Got drainage right there. This is my pick. If there's gonna be any that hatch, I'm gonna go with this one. All right, guys, well, hope you enjoyed the water update and the nesting Nile update.
Yeah, if you like today's episode, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Also follow us on Patreon. All the links are gonna be in the description below. Follow us on Instagram, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you guys.